Hey, Gamecock fans, welcome back to another riveting episode, a portal episode of Alumni Game. I'm your host, Mike Ritchie, class of '06. With me, Sam Niedermeyer, also class of '06, and John Buster Clarkson, class of '02. We are back with you here
He's
with
busy.
more
He's busy on the phone.
breaking
I'm
news.
Adam
Yeah,
Schefter. I'm Adam Schefter right now.
yeah. On a junior level, you know. Yeah. Um, So we got all kinds of portal news for the Gamecocks. I'm looking at a list of names, some guys we've talked about, some we haven't yet. So we'll do a little surprise on that. But suffice to say that the coach is out there, the Gamecocks are out there hitting the portal pretty hard. It does seem like the general football world is noticing that, and while for me that's cool, it's it's the off season and we got a lot to prove, and we won't know for sure till like week 2 or something. But a lot of cool names to talk about, some of it sort of breaking, some of it not. Obviously Buster's getting text right now, but guys, how are we doing living this portal life?
Dude, the portal is absolutely nuts. It is a free for all. It's the Wild West. It's a lawless land. No one knows what's coming and going left or right. But Shane Beamer is doing what he can. And of the three things that we asked him to do to rebuild our trust and faith in him and this football program after a 4-8 season, I think he's done all three. The first one, get that OC hire right. He got that. And he got two great position coaches in Stan Drayton and Randy Clements on the offensive line and running back. The second thing, retain your most productive and your best players. Your Lenore Sellers, your Dylan Stewart, your Nick Harbors, great Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, Matt Fuller. I mean, we got all of the guys that we saw great production out of. We got them coming back. And then the third thing, win the portal. And the cool thing is, the last time we were here last week doing this exact show, we were wondering, when is the bottom going to fall out? When is that portal going to break wide open for us? And literally, right when we get off, the next 2 days after our last show, that thing
Man,
busted wide open. Man, did we get some guys?
fell straight into this portal. This is what I'm
Wow!
envisioning, by the way, like for the portal, right? Like some type of like interspace tube where
Yeah.
you like travel from one college to the other or something like that. But yeah, no, I mean it almost it starts to feel like fantasy football or something. It's hard to imagine that it could be this way or it would want to be this way. We have some other guys we'll talk about later that seem like first for the portal. But I mean, I saw some guy, I don't even know where he was going now, Georgia State or something, who had been to like 7 different schools. And I was just like, at what point is that serving the student part of it or the college part of it? That doesn't really
Uh,
seem right, you know?
that TJ Finley that has been he's on his seventh school. That guy, some people, he's a Van Wilder. He's a lifetime college student. There you go.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, he's going to PCU. But no, I just yeah, so that part of it I don't know about, but I will say it feels like an embarrassment of riches for a team that already had pieces. Adding a lot more pieces is at least going to add competition. I mean, I'm looking at names on the O line, the D line, offensive, interior, guys who feel like could anchor some stuff. And it feels like we start with like the top two gets that sort of everyone's talking about right now, right? Jacarrius Peak O line, and also Josiah Thompson, and just that like the two of them together, not only are they probably the cream of our portal crop so far, together like on top of what we already have, like wow, what could that be? You
I
know?
like how you mentioned Josiah Thompson because Gamecock Nation thought he was leaving. He had
Hmm.
entered the portal, and then as of this morning, breaking news. I was in the Walgreens parking lot. It was probably about 10:30 this morning, and I got a buzz on the phone. Breaking news alert: Josiah Thompson has withdrawn his name from the portal. He is back in. So that part about Shane Beamer retaining the best players, well, Josiah Thompson's back in the fold, and that's
They
the
can
cool
go as
thing.
far as to want to go in the portal and be in the portal like me and come
Woo!
back. Like, I mean, at a certain extent, it happens everywhere, right? Like, I don't know, you break up with a girl and then you get back together. Like that happens all the time. But it's crazy that it didn't used to be this way at all. I mean, I remember Cam Newton having to go play at a junior college, and then move over and or like burning a year, and how wild that seems now.
Yeah.
And especially where there's money involved, and the idea of guys staying in college, like basically what Beck is doing for Miami, right? He completely rehabbed himself, his abilities, and he might win a national championship in the
But
meantime.
maybe
And he's
not his
making money. He's
relationship
making like
with
4 million or
one of the.
something stupid.
Yeah, he didn't rehab his relationship with the Cavender twin though, so that's one thing he didn't get to work
Yeah.
on.
So, and then I guess continuing on this list, on top of breaking news, I mean, the most exciting for me, just because you guys know me and I love like great names and nicknames, and I'm staring this wide receiver that we're tracking down in the portal, Nitro Tuggle, who played for Purdue, and I'm just like, yes, please, yes, you know what I mean?
Right up
And
Mike's
because at
alley
this
right
point,
there.
he's gonna have not maybe one of the cooler wide receiver sellers gonna have one of the cooler wide receiver rooms in the league where he's already throwing to his brother, but to have some of these other guys that are coming in that feel like, I don't know, just a lot of fun too, and you got to know that if coach is bringing them in, that they're buying into what we're doing here and the values here, and it's really cool to see them going out and getting more talent. I mean, I thought we were pretty good at wide receiver, especially if a couple guys are going to stay. I might have looked at some other areas. But there are some other areas, right, that aren't here. Sam, you and I were talking about no tight ends on this list. Nobody, no, we're not getting anyone at tight end necessarily. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's not necessary in this offense. It's like, what did you mean by that? Because that kind of went over my head a little bit.
I mean, we got Kendall Briles in the offseason. Mike Buster had alluded to it earlier at the start of the show that you get your OC guy. So we have Kendall Briles coming in. He's pretty much a spread the field type of offensive coordinator, and they don't use a lot of tight ends. If they do use tight ends, they're going to be blocking. So there's going to be six off as the sixth offensive lineman. Basically, he's going to be blocking on those option reads, specifically on on rushing plays or screen pass plays. You'll have a tight end sneak out for like a little bit of a route every now and then, but you don't really need to go out there and get a big name tight end, right? Just get somebody who's a 2 or 3 star, develop him into a pass blocker, a run blocker, and you'll be fine. Same thing with like, we have a couple running backs that come in, which is good, but you don't really need a tight end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
No tight end has
completely
ever
agree.
done. No, there's not. Let me put it this way: the Kendall Briles offense is going to be quarterback and wide receiver, right? You have the running back in there too that puts up numbers, but the people that are going to put up numbers are going to be the quarterback and the wide receiver rooms. Like they're going to put up huge numbers. Tight end, not so much, but that's okay because they're going to play some team football by blocking with some big boys that we got in the transfer portal just this week.
Oh yeah, dude,
Some
Sam
good.
Dixon and Jabri Coleman, the two guys. First of all, they're good running backs because they come from the Big Ten and they come from like two of the best running back schools of the Big Ten in Ohio State and Penn State. Jabri is from
Yeah,
Penn State.
it's true.
Sam is from Ohio State, and they're also big boys. Like Jabri is, again, like we're not getting 5'11", 195. We're getting 6'2", 215 out of Jabri Coleman, or well, maybe a little bit shorter than 6'2". We'll
Yeah, yeah,
say
maybe a
we'll
little
say
bit.
6'1". Sam Dixon, like bowling ball, yeah, he's 5'11", but he's 210, 215 pounds. So you're getting guys, and they're also complementing what we saw in the dynamic duo with Matt Fuller and Jawarn Howell, and I think
Right.
those guys are very good. And it's the idea with the running back room, you can spell them, keep them fresh, and all these guys serve a purpose as far as, can they go up the middle? Can they break it outside? Are these guys that fall forward? Are these guys that make you miss? Are these guys one cut
Yeah.
and then off to the races? You
Well,
need all those things to kind of complement your backfield, and I think we got that with all these guys already.
you think
Col
these guys are
Coleman is
these guys?
like real. I'm sorry, Mike, real quick.
No,
So
no, go ahead.
Coleman was drafted by James Franklin, or not? Sorry, drafted. He drafted. He was recruited by James Franklin. James Franklin gets let go
For Penn
middle of the
State.
season.
Yeah,
James
so he's
Franklin
taken
runs
off.
elements of that spread offense that Kendall Briles has always been running.
Yep.
He's been doing it ever since he was at Vanderbilt, right? So he was going after this guy specifically to run that Briles style offense. So we're gonna have a bruiser right there who's going to run that read option, be able to run it. He's been running it in high school.
Yeah.
He's going to run it in Penn State in practice all the time. So we got someone that's going to fit the offensive style. So there's not going to be that learning curve that we saw over the last year.
Didn't we
He
get
should
a
not be
position
named.
coach from Penn State, like a
Running
Yeah.
back
O-line?
coach.
The running back coach, Stan Drayton.
Yep.
Yeah, Drayton. Yeah. So that speaks to
And
that
look
right
who
away. I
came,
mean,
running back.
that's probably the relationship that helped bring him in, right? Was Drayton gave him a call and was like, "Come on
Absolutely.
over." Yeah.
Definitely.
And
He
coach was
said,
like,
"Hey,
"Oh
we got a
yeah."
wide open position battle here. Why don't you
Yeah,
come
and I
on
mean,
down to
so I guess,
Columbia?"
there is more offense here than I might have thought. There is some defense here too. Quaysheed Scott, DB. Tell me about him, Buster. I don't know
Oh,
much
dude,
about him.
yeah. So we got a SEC boy. So Quaysheed is originally, I want to say he's from Marion, Marion, South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Lengthy guy, 6', 6'1", around 195, 200. Balled out for Kentucky, and to me, I just like the fact that he's coming home.
Yeah.
As you know, us South
Yeah, that
Carolina
is
boys gotta
cool.
stick
That is
together.
cool.
He is the cousin of T.J. Sanders, our D lineman that was drafted to the Buffalo Bills, and
Good stock.
Cam Smith, another great DB from the DBU of South Carolina. So I'm happy with that. And it's just, we talked about it in the last show that we do have depth in the secondary. We do have star power there, and we're adding to that. So, the more you can build upon what you already have, especially if it's a solid position and a strength of your program, the better off you're going to be. And that allows you to then go after the guys at the position groups that that you need to shore up some more. So getting a Quay sheet in there, going ahead, shutting down, worrying about the secondary. Now you can focus on the D line, you can focus on the O line, you can focus on wide receivers. I still think
Which they are, yeah.
Yeah, I think we need 1 to 2 more D linemen. I would like 3 more solid
Pluck one out of
OL.
the portal here.
If there's a no brainer type at wide receiver or running back, I'm go for it. But if not, it's okay. I still think you should definitely go after the lines because you look at your boy Nitro Toggle, since you love names. If we look at strictly from a production value, and we say our most productive offensive guy last year that transferred out, Vandrevis Jacobs, he's going to Miami, by the way.
Yeah,
last
this
year,
feels like swap Nitro right in there.
So Dre Jacobs last year had about 32 receptions, 33 receptions, about 540 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns. Nitro Togo comes in, 35 receptions, around 500 some odd yards for offense, and 4 touchdowns. So you're replacing production equally, and you're getting a guy that's 6'2". So, the most important thing outside of getting the numbers we need on offensive linemen or getting that star power is replacing production, and we've done that. So
yeah, you've been saying this
Nitro
a lot in the portal, but like Nitro represents exactly what we're trying to do. Not necessarily, he's got upside and some development, sure, but we need something concrete now that he provides that we lost, and we lost that with Vandrevius, and we're getting that with Nitro at a minimum. And at a maximum could be more and better because Sellers has more time with some new O-line and a different running scheme, a completely different thing on offense, basically. That is no tight ends and Briles. And I would, look, I hear you, Sam. I would like to see like 1 tight end, but I think you have something for us there too, Buster.
Yeah,
I like the side. I'm sorry, real quick, but just to add a note onto what Buster's saying, we're going to tight end. I love that we're targeting the size of the wide receivers. I love it because it says, hey, Lenoris might have to throw a couple up there into the air, and we need our receivers, the big body, the defensive backs. I love the size targeting we're doing in the transfer portal.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's smaller receivers for sure, but I'm with you, Sam. For this offense, like Harbor is what's worked for that stretching, and so that's good there. Vandrevius is what has worked in a different way. So those are 2 pieces, and then like show me a third piece, and we have so many other wide receivers that could.
I like that there's a plan. I really do. I've really
and that Nitro
really
could
that.
be that, but there are other wide receivers obviously that we've been talking about too. Besides him, who else was there? Jaden Gibson was a 3-star
from Oklahoma. Big dude.
6'5".
And again, get from an SEC team, great. I just love what they're doing here. It's smart. We get an offensive coach, a running back comes with him. That's a whole package. We lose Vandrevius, we know right away we're getting someone like Tuggle and maybe also someone like Gibson, just in case Tuggle, and create a competition there with people we have. It even feels like the wide receiver Sellers is going to have to compete here too.
And the cool thing too is and we're still retaining the slot guys. Like, there is definitely a plan for how the slot receivers work in the Briles system. And we saw what Jaden Sellers was able to do those last couple of games when he was given an opportunity. And we also are retaining Donovan Murph, who I think is very dynamic and was play ready. And he could even go in there. And there's also, we still have Jordan Gidron and Lex Cyrus and Malik Clark, who all redshirted last year. We're set at that wide receiver position. And those guys know that they have the opportunity to make plays in this kind of offense. And you know that they're going to be excited this offseason to get to where they need to be at physically and mentally to be able to be that asset in this offense for this upcoming year.
All right, so that's been a lot of offensive talk, which is great because we got to get this offense going. Sounds like we've replaced some things and sort of fixed some gaps already. But on the defensive side, we're talking twins, Basil, twins, right? We got these Collins brothers. So let's talk about them for a minute. I know the Alabama one, but his younger brother too, right?
Well, you just said younger brother, so
twins, Brazel, the twins.
I mean, I don't know. I know they're brothers, and I want them to be twins.
They're brothers.
If they are twins, great.
I guess, you know,
they're twins, but they're 2 years apart. But they're still
exactly.
twins.
They look the same, and they're brothers, so they're twins.
Yeah, they're twins.
But Kelby out of Alabama is the one we really wanted, and then his brother's coming too from Arkansas State.
Yeah, I like Kelby a lot. 6'4", 275.
Yeah,
most likely can play. Will be playing the interior, but I've heard that he does have the athletic ability to slide out. Maybe on some goal line stances where you need like basically a whole line of heavy bodies. You get someone like him in a package where it's a bunch of other jumbo guys. But either way, I like both of those guys. I think, Sam, what do you think? Do we definitely need one more defensive end? I don't know if you want to say that we need a no-brainer home run type, but I kind of feel like you need someone that can take the pressure off of Dylan Stewart on the other side.
Other side would be great. I would take even like another defensive lineman because we have like kind of a depth. We kind of have some depth there at edge rusher now with the two brothers coming in. By the way, what if we were talking to Kelby Collins and said like, hey, I'll come, but you got to make an offer to my brother too, right? What if he kind of like did one of those things? That would be kind of cool, right? Where you kind of use the NIL to his advantage. I mean,
look, every single one of these deals starts to look that way. Like
right?
the running back came with the coach, the brother came with the brother, the other coach was there, or I'm related to 5 guys that played at South Carolina. Apparently, he's also related to Xavier Legette. Like, there's always a link, and there has to be because there's a lot of other places you can go ball. I mean, we're drawing a dude from Alabama. If his brother's any good, sure, bring him in, give him a little bit, and see.
It's two defensive players from Alabama now, 2 years in a row. It's Sean Murphy last year that came from Alabama, and now we have Collins here. So, Buster, I'm with you. We need another edge rusher. We need one that is going to take off, alleviate a little bit on Dylan Stewart. Dylan Stewart was obviously another menace this year. He played hurt. He was still an absolute menace. You figure in with all the guys who lost in the draft list this year, who were probably going to lose in the draft to the defensive line last year, who were going to lose in the defensive line in the draft this year. Dylan Stewart's going to need someone to replace him over there to help him out. You want 2 edge rushers. You really do. That's like what you need now.
Well, I do like Drew Collins' size. Like he's 6'4", 240. And we still have the the Addison brothers from a high school ranks. I don't know if they're twins or brothers or both, but we do have twins. We do have some younger guys, that are. I'm guessing most of our high school class has enrolled for the winter workouts. I don't have the list in front of me, but we have guys there. George Wilson, who redshirted last year, he's still there. Desmond Umuzulu, that started to flash this past year. I think he needs to step it up and really be consistent for this, potentially his final year if he does well. But we have numbers there. It's just, to me, I guess we were spoiled with how we got Kyle Kennard 2 years ago, and it's almost like you're hoping for something like that. And we were looking at Chaz Coleman, the freshman or sophomore out of Penn State, who we thought was going to come here. Apparently, Tennessee threw down some big bucks at the last minute. He ended up going there. That's fine. That's what happens. Transfer portal.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I love change, sticking to the idea that I have a budget and it's based on your production, and we're not going to overpay for you. I respect that. So We missed out on Chaz Coleman. So I think if we can get someone that can, and again, when I say like a no-brainer type, I'm strictly looking at production because that's what we need. We need to win
These
now.
were their stats from last year. We need those stats now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we have the potential there. And like you said, Sam, I am liking Drew and Kelby coming in. I like the Addison boys out of high school. And I just think that I want one more guy out of the portal that we know that we can say, okay, this guy gets in. He's going to eat up some attention from the offensive line, and it's going to allow Dylan Stewart to get in the backfield, despite the number of holding calls that are constantly going down because the refs are terrible and they don't know what a holding call is against Dylan Stewart. I will say that every show from here on out, I will call out the SEC refs for blatant missing of holding calls against Dylan Stewart.
Unbiased, realistic,
reasonable, objectionable, unbiased.
So,
but it is
attractive.
Turn on the film. Turn on the film.
Objective.
Turn on the film. Turn on the
film. So look, that's a lot of the portal, but now I'm getting back to the bottom of this list, and there's one name that I love, not only because we need it. We've been doing this transfer portal kicker thing for a little while, but Upton Belafonte is the kicker
that was my guy that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him. Okay, so I love Mike. I love it. I love it. Sorry to cut you off.
So my guy's Nitro and your guy's Upton.
Upton Belafonte. Listen, I know so he's been kicking for 2 years now.
Texas
Last year, collectively, and we all know Shane loves the kickers and the special teams. Team went 12 of 16, 75% from field goal range, right? 32 of 32. Upton Belafonte 2 years ago, he went 18 of 21 from field goal range, 4 of 4 from the 20 to 29, 6 of 7 from the 30 to 39, 7 of 8 from the 40s, right? This is where an area that we really struggled last year from the 40s, but 5 of 8 as a team, and then 0 of 1 in the 50s. He has gone 1 of 2, so doubling up there. I think that's a sneaky good pick. He played on a team that was in the top 5 all season at Texas Tech. Sneaky good pick. I'd love to see him compete for this starting kicker job. And with Kendall Briles, we're going to move that ball. So even if we're not going to get a touchdown, we're going to be in range for a field goal. Love this transfer portal pickup.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. How many games? And last year was kind of there was several games where we lost by more than a field goal. I get that. But remember 2 years ago against Alabama and LSU, if we had a field goal kicker at that time, despite the issues that happened, we would have been able to win both of those games with a field goal kick from outside. But
even last year, Buster, I would argue that kicking is a vibe. Like a quarterback goes down and scores, and it's punctuated with that extra point. That's good. Well, the guy misses that extra point, and you're now losing the game 7-6. That quarterback's on the sideline like boo boo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at Ole Miss, versus Miami in the playoff game this past week. Ole Miss came back and had a chance to, they were kept in the game by a field goal kicker that could kick it 60 yards in college, which is freaking phenomenal. But, and again, not everybody can have a college kicker that can kick it 60 plus. I get that. But they stayed in that game because his field goal kicking just enough that they had a legitimate chance to go down one final play. Trinidad throws it to the corner of the end zone. Some people are saying that there was some PI down there. I don't know. I say let them fight on the last ball, Hail Mary. But the fact is, they got to that point because that field goal kicker, when their offense was not getting time of possession and the number of plays to be able to score at will like they have all season, that kicker kept them in the game with some of his phenomenal field goal kicking. So getting a field goal kicker is vital, and especially if you're a Shane Beamer ball guy.
Yeah, especially one like Upton, who is coming from Texas Tech, a top 5 team. So he's been kicking on a big stage. He's a junior, so he's been around a while. And he's originally out of Tennessee, which is kind of cool. I mean, he's not coming home, but he's closer to home, It's funny because he's kind of a big guy too. 6'1" for a kicker is kind of interesting. Maybe he can he can do other stuff like for fakes or something.
I think he needs to be first team all name team. I love that name, Upton.
Upton Harry Belafonte. Maybe there's an episode brewing for Upton.
Upton Nitro, baby. Upton and Nitro.
Listen, oh my God. It's like a sitcom. It's perfect.
My family, my great-grandmother and my mom were huge fans of Harry Belafonte. So anybody with the last name Belafonte, I'll take it.
Upton Belafonte. Yeah, I mean, there's him. There's the Collins brothers next door, like the Bushwhackers. Just
what would they have
she lives up the street. It's perfect.
They
so
got like the
terrific.
Heisman House commercial, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
you
the
have
Heisman House, but
Upton,
it's like the
Nitro, the
portal
Collins
house.
brothers. Like, what would
You
the
like
theme song be?
you get to only get to live in the house if you were in the portal, basically.
Actually, my favorite one, I think, just because we know how bad Pada Ellis is with names on the radio broadcast. We got a D tackle from Illinois, Tomia Durajaye. So just picture yourself sitting there listening to Todd Ellis trying to say his name when he goes in and gets a tackle. So
Oh, that's the other 4-star, the D lineman, Tomiwa.
yeah,
Yeah, you got to do the first name, Tomiwa.
Tomiwa Durajaye.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna struggle
Yeah.
with that one this year.
Oh yeah, we're working it out. We're hitting the tongue. So let's talk about him. I know very little about him.
Well, he's
Um,
6'5", 300, so he's a big boy.
ooh,
Yeah, it's huge.
Delaware.
Not
Oh,
quite
signed with
GBD,
Kentucky.
but he's close enough.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
so he's been all over.
Oh yeah. He's a well traveled young man.
Was he on that Illinois team when we played them?
Yeah, he was Illinois. Well, let's see, because he was at Florida State before
Yeah, he was at
that.
Kentucky a little for a little while in the
Let's
beginning.
see. No, he. Well, yeah, no, he.
Oh, and he's
Entered in
only
the
got 1
portal.
year.
Yeah, he was with the Fighting Illini December of last year, so he wouldn't have been able to play in the bowl game with his transfer. So we did not play against
Right.
him. But
What
yeah,
happens when we're in the
started.
portal?
He started at UK, University of Kentucky, then West Virginia, then Florida State, then Illinois, and now us for his final
Yeah,
year.
that's a lot of
But
moving
I
around.
love that size. I love that size.
Oh my God,
6'5",
amazing.
300.
On the D line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that really covers it for now. I mean, I've seen some stuff like we got a tight end visiting, a little bit of this or that. The portal's still open for a little bit. Guys can obviously still withdraw, which is awesome. Guys are withdrawing and coming back to South Carolina. That says something about what Shane's doing and what they got. And it does feel like, look, I mean, it's not done yet, but it feels like some big wins in the portal for
Hell yeah,
Carolina. They're going to
hell
really
yeah.
affect the season. So fingers crossed for more. But otherwise, that's gonna probably do it for us here for our part two, kind of a rolling thing. The portal will end this week, so then next week we'll wrap that up and probably get into Gamecocks of the week contenders, because this list has got us a few. But unless there's anything I missed, that's gonna do it for another episode of Alumni.
Game!
Cox!
Game!
Cox.
Cox!
In the portal.